Legacy. In NASCAR, legacy is intrinsically linked with the sport. From the start, families have pushed the sport forward. The Earnhardts, Pettys, Yarbroughs, they've all helped define the sport and cement it and its greatness in different ways. The Allisons are right up there with them as well, as the all-time greats. The most successful and well-known of the Allisons was Bobby Allison. Bobby accomplished more than almost everybody else in NASCAR history, with 84 wins in 718 starts, accompanied by 336 top 5s, 446 top 10s, and a career average of 11.5 average finish, and a lone championship in 1983. The talent that his son Davey needed to follow up was incredible, to say the least. He would start strong with an 8th-place points finish in his first full season in 1988. That was the same year that he finished second to his father to make for the first father-son 1-2 finish in Daytona 500 history.
Neil Bonnet, the third member of that Alabama gang, back in 5th, and those two leaders draw away a bit. Davey Allison coming after his father. Looks down inside as they take it high in turn number 2. Back straight away, final time to decide it all here this afternoon.
Now, Davey, what are you going to do?
He's got less than half a lap to do it.
And they have enough lead. I believe this is going to be a battle between the father and son. I don't think anybody else can try it, but here he comes. He's going to do it.
To the bottom. He's down low. Bobby Allison high. Davey Allison trying the inside move. Bobby Allison holds him off. They come to the stripe, and the winner of the 30th annual Great American Race, Bobby Allison. Davey Allison, his son, in second. Judy Allison ecstatic. What a tremendous family performance.
Look at him, Bobby waving to Davey.
I went down low at 3 and 4, but he was too strong.
Did you hear Davey?
Davey's career would begin to flourish in 1991 as he would have 5 wins and finish third in points, only behind future Hall of Famers Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. 1992 looked to have all the opportunity in the world to be the championship season that many had anticipated. The anticipation rose to a new boiling point after the checkered flag flew for the 34th annual Daytona 500.
In the back straightaway if he's got the momentum to do it.
Around Michael Waltrip's car. Down for the finish. Going into turn 3. Mike?
Glenwood, can he do it? I don't think so. He's pretty strong. It's just up to Morgan how he gets into turn with him.
Here they come. Morgan down to the line. Davey Allison first. Morgan Shepherd gets it all back there. Has he got anything left? Coming to the stripe. Morgan comes to the inside, and Davey Allison is going to win the Daytona 500. The Alabama gang has done it again. The son of a great champion at this track, Bobby Allison, Davey Allison, victorious in the 34th annual Daytona 500.
Allison would dominate the field, leading 127 of 200 laps in the Great American Race. The triumphant Daytona 500 victory began a dream start of the season for Allison and the number 28 Texaco Haviland team. The second race of the season at Rockingham brought on another great finish, as Allison was one of the most dominant drivers, leading 130 laps and finishing second. Allison would also finish 4th at Richmond, as well as leading 160 laps in both of the following races at Atlanta and Darlington. The start was a dream, but it only shot Allison to a 48-point lead over Bill Elliott, who had won the previous 4 races after the Daytona 500. The first bump in the road came at Bristol, Tennessee in the 6th race of the year. The Haviland car was at the top of the scoring pylon for 50 circuits in this race, but on lap 283, Allison's day would come to an abrupt end.
Davey Allison just blew going into turn 3, took Ernie Irvin and Darrell Waltrip. Darrell might have escaped maybe with not too much damage to his Chevrolet.
Boy, there's pretty heavy damage to Darrell's car.
Yep, sure is.
Davies. Ernie Irvin.
Oh, then Morgan Shepherd spins in the oil over there. There's still oil there.
Yeah, there's a lot of oil going into that turn. As Davey went into turn 3, you could see the big puff of smoke come out of it, and he slid into the wall. Darrell was right behind him, and he got in the oil and slid into the wall. Ernie Irvin was there. He slid into it. You can see the oil. You can see the oil there on the racetrack. Boy, there's a lot of it.
Boy. So Davey Allison, Darrell Waltrip, Ernie Irvin, all involved in this crash. Morgan Shepherd spun. And there is the oil trail extending way back into the beginning of turn 3.
This would lead to a 28th place finish. Though, due to many others at the top of the standings having trouble at Bristol, Allison still held on to a 29-point lead over Bill Elliott, while now opening the door for Harry Gant, Terry Labonte, Alan Kulwicki, Morgan Shepherd, and Jeffrey Bodine to all be within a race in points. Moving on to North Wilkesboro the following week, Allison didn't necessarily need to be in any panic mode.
Two more. The Ford win streak.
Oh, look at that low line that Rusty is running. Has he been saving that?
Never know.
Has he been saving that? I'm telling you, he was right down on the grass and made up a lot of ground on Davey, but he is catching Bobby Hillen.
Here we go. Here's the last lap. The white flag is out.
Now, Hillen's going to be there where Rusty would like to be, down on the inside. He can't get down there as low as he would like to get, fellas. That's right. The last time he was right down there where Hillen was.
Allison leads down the backstretch. Rusty looks to the inside in turn number 3. Will it be Allison or Wallace? Here they come off the 4th turn. It is going to be Davey Allison winning by about a car length over Rusty Wallace.
Davey led 88 laps en route to a victory. It continued a 7-week streak of Allison leading laps in every race, as he had led for all 7 for 716 laps. That streak would end at Martinsville Speedway, as Allison would be involved in a wreck and limp home to a 26th place finish. Just like his recovery after Bristol, Allison would go on to win the following week.
One more lap to go. 2.66 miles to go for Davey Allison.
Elliott looks on the outside. Davey's going to try to take him up high.
Here comes Earnhardt on the inside. Now Bill comes down and they almost touch.
They did touch, I believe, but Elliott managed to stay in second, and he managed to keep Dale Earnhardt back in 3rd position. Still no movement. They run nose to tail down the backstretch. Let's see what happens now at the end of the backstretch as they set into the 33 degrees of banking of turn number 3. Ernie Irvan looking to the inside. There goes Dale Earnhardt to the outside. Ernie will follow him. Dale slides way up on the racetrack. He's in a battle for 2nd position with Bill Elliott. They move off of turn number 4 and come down through the tri-oval. Davey Allison still has the lead. He's trying to break the draft. It looks like he's going to win it. Battle for 2nd between Elliott and Earnhardt. Here's the checkered flag, and Davey Allison wins it. 2nd place goes to Elliott. 3rd place to Earnhardt. 4th, I believe, to Marlin, and 5th to Irvan.
Allison would lead 110 laps on his way to victory and lengthen his points lead from 16 points to 67. The 28 had great momentum heading into the Winston. This race also had been highly anticipated, to the point that it already had a nickname coined, One Hot Night. One Hot Night being the nickname, as it would be the first running of the Winston under the lights. It was billed as being a once-in-a-lifetime kind of show. The race was great to say the least, and with the finish, well, Dale Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, and Allison all made it one of the greatest moments in NASCAR history.
Davey Allison coming up, but I don't think will be a factor. Kyle just hauls it off the corner. He's got the inside. He's up to Earnhardt's bumper. Earnhardt takes it.
They're on the racing service down on the left part of the racetrack. Look out!
And it's Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty coming to the checkered flag. Here comes Davey Allison to the bottom. It'll be the finish everybody was waiting for. They crashed past the finish line. They have crashed into turn number 1. And Davey Allison is in a shower of sparks.
While Allison won the race, he would never make it to victory lane, as he had to be removed from the car with the jaws of life and transported to the Carolinas Medical Center. Davey would have to remain there for 2 days afterwards, as he had suffered a broken collarbone and bruising on over half of his body. At the hospital, Allison remarked that, "This is the darndest victory lane I've ever been in. I guess the good news is I won $300,000. The bad news is most of that will go towards hospital bills." Allison had just over a week to prepare and heal. Luckily for Allison, though, the series would stay in Charlotte for the next race. For 2 reasons, it would benefit Allison. First is not having to go to a different place and having an easier rest period. The second being that Allison had finished 7th or better at Charlotte every race since 1989. Allison ran valiantly, though, staying in contention for the win and leading 33 laps, and going on to finish 4th. This run would increase Allison's lead now to 111 points over Elliott. That lead eroded quickly, though, over the next 3 weeks, with finishes of 11th at Dover Downs, 28th at Sears Point, and 5th at Pocono. Heading into the 14th race of the season, Alice was up now by 21 points over Bill Elliott. Michigan made for a statement win that proved that the 28 team was here to stay, though.
Down to 3 and 6/10 seconds as he eases back on the throttle just a little more. Eases back like 180 miles per hour in the back straightaway. After his 17th career win, Davey Allison, current Winston Cup point leader, where he's been ever since that great Daytona 500 run he had at the outset of the season. Here's Allison streaking around. Final moments. Coming down. Looking for that bonus. Looks like he's going to nail it. Here he comes out of turn number 4. And for the second straight year, the winner of the Michigan 400 is from the Alabama gang.
He would lead 158 of the 200 laps, all from the pole, and completely destroy the field. This was followed up by a top 10 at Daytona, and Allison now truly looked to have everything in his favor heading into Pocono. The momentum seemed even more obvious as he won the pole for this race as well, with a dominant car. And he would lead 115 of the first 139 laps. Unfortunately, on the 150th lap, Allison made contact with eventual race winner Darrell Waltrip.
And he's upside down. Into the guardrail, side over side, end over end, and Davey Allison has experienced a horrifying crash.
Oh! Where Davey flipped. There he was bad. Okay, Davey? Davey, you okay?
His car is upside down. Fuel is pouring out of it.
Well, that was a good indication. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
He clapped his hands. Apparently, Davey is talking to them.
That was a good indication that, hey, we don't need to cut the guy. He's going to be able to get out of here by himself is what I took from that.
That's what exactly the way I read it.
Let's certainly hope that's what it means. There is Davey on the stretcher being taken to a gurney that will put him into the ambulance and transported to the nearest medical facility for further attention. And the word we had was that Davey was conscious. We have no other information than that. Cage looks good.
It does look good. And I tell you what, that bar, the black bar right in the middle of the roll cage that runs horizontal, vertical, whatever, across. See that black bar right there in the center? That's going to save all that stuff from coming in the guardrail, all that other stuff from coming inside the car.
The crash had an added level of fear as Pocono had been the site of a horrible crash that had ended his father, Bobby Allison's career. Davey would continue on, though, arriving at Talladega the following weekend, showing the true extent of his injuries.
Take your glasses off, and Davey's like, you don't really want me to do that. Yeah, let's see your eyes.
If y'all want to see it, I'll show them to you, but it's ugly.
Davey smiled. He said, I told you you didn't want to see this.
In half a season, Davey Allison suffered broken ribs, a concussion, a broken forearm and wrist. And each time, he returned to the starting grid the next week.
The NASCAR rulebook states that drivers have to start the race in order to earn points for the championship. For this reason, Allison would run the opening laps of the following two races at Talladega and Watkins Glen. Allison entered Talladega now 8 points behind Bill Elliott, running now for the first time all season lower than the lead in the points. He needed to scrape together every point possible. Bobby Hillin Jr. would be the relief driver. He would pilot the 28 car to a third-place finish and help Allison actually regain the points lead, now by 1 point over Elliott. The following week at Watkins Glen saw relief driver Dorsey Schroeder come in for Allison and run well until a jack failure relegated him to a 20th place run, which dropped Allison back to second in points again, now 17 back. The good news was that Davey was now healthy enough to run the entire race as the series headed to Michigan, the site of his last dominant win. Tragically, the weekend would be one of the worst in Allison's life, as his younger brother Clifford was killed in a crash during the practice session for the Busch Series race that weekend. Allison put together a valiant run, finishing in the 5th position before leaving Michigan to attend his younger brother's funeral. The following week at Bristol, Allison would struggle once more.
This year. Oh, Davey Allison, points leader. spins up in 3, backs in the wall.
Here's Marlin also spinning.
Some heavy contact to the rear of the... There's nothing point there. That's right. He's a second place car.
Nevertheless, he was trying to take over the points lead, and he has some significant damage to the left rear of that race car.
The 30th place run now put Allison 109 points back and second in the points. Allison continued to be hot and cold the next 3 weeks, with a 5th place finish at the Southern 500, 2 laps down in 19th the following week at Richmond, and then 4th at Dover Downs. Even with 2 top 5s over those 3 races, Allison continued to slip back, now 154 points back in second. He was over a race worth of points behind. With 6 races to go in the season, it seemed to be slipping away. But hope once again began to resurface for Allison over the next 3 races, even though Davey didn't run well, not even finishing within 3 laps of the winner in any of these races. He outpaced Elliott, who had an absolutely horrible string of races. At Martinsville, Allison finished 16th, 4 laps down, while Elliott blew an engine and finished 30th. This cut the lead down to 112 points with 5 races to go. At North Wilkesboro, Allison finished 11th, 3 laps down, while Elliott finished 26th. The lead was now cut to 67 points, with 4 races left. And at Charlotte, Allison finished 5 laps down in 19th, while Elliott's car overheated to cause another 30th place finish. So with 3 races to go, Elliott only led Allison by 39 points. The championship was once again blown wide open, as not only did Allison have a chance to get back in the fight, now only 39 points back, but Alan Kulwicki was 47 back, Mark Martin was now 91 back, Harry Gant was 98 back, and Kyle Petty was the long shot, 114 points behind the leader. Heading into Rockingham, Allison was closing, but also needed to up his performance himself. He would slightly improve, finishing 10th, 2 laps down, while Elliott would go on to a 4th place run. With 2 races left in the season, Allison was now 70 points back. Allison needed to make some home run swings at this point. Bill Elliott with an ailing car would limp home to a 31st place finish. Allison needed to strike quick, and that he did.
Held over the pass. No. White flag for Davey Allison.
That was checkmate right quick.
Allison 1 lap away from his 5th Winston Cup win, the most by any driver this season. 5th this season. Here it is, 4th place. Waltrip's going to run off for 3rd by himself. Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott's stablemate, trying to deny Alan Kulwicki 5 points right here at the finish.
And they're coming up on a lap car.
Out of turn 4. Davey Allison will win it. Marlin tries to pin Kulwicki down.
Davey led the final 30 laps of the race. Due to the win, which was his 5th of the season, as well as Bill Elliott's struggles, Davey Allison now held a 30-point lead over new second-place driver Alan Kulwicki. Bill Elliott was now 40 points back in 3rd, Harry Gant was 97 back in 4th, Kyle Petty was 5th, 98 back, and Mark Martin was mathematically still alive, 113 points behind in 6th. All the drama, turmoil, and heartache, it all built up to one final race. A season's worth of effort, all leading to this. The 1992 Hooters 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The race would, by many, become known as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, NASCAR race of all time. It would be known for a multitude of reasons. It would be known for being Jeff Gordon's first start, Richard Petty's final start, and having objectively one of the greatest championship battles in NASCAR's history. Points leader Davey Allison would roll off the grid starting in the 17th position. By the 3rd lap, Allison had his first scare of the day, needing to avoid an accident.
Bodine would not let Rick Oh, and we have a spin. Bodine is in the fence, so is Rick Mast.
No! Davey got through. Kyle Petty got through. I think I saw Alan Kulwicki on the bottom of the racetrack getting through.
While Allison led 5 laps early in order to gain 5 bonus points for the championship, it was dominated by his 2 championship rivals, Bill Elliott and Alan Kulwicki. Allison had a top 10 car, while they had winning cars. Due to a roll of duct tape on the track from being left on Jeff Gordon's number 24 car, Allison had another problem. He hit the roll of duct tape.
They have been told that there may be a problem with the car.
Davey just yelled to the crew, I think I've run over something on the track.
It totally killed the way the car was driving. We knew it was early enough in the race that we're going to have to bite the bullet. We've got the people. We've got good people. We can fix this and not lose a lap.
I remember we were making patches on pit road, screwing them to the car and riveting to the car and organizing all that stuff. That's the time for the guys that work on cars. That's when they get in the game. That's their time to serve. And that's kind of how I felt about all that. You know, this is our time to go, you know, overcome something.
And lo and behold, our guys stepped up to the plate and did it. We have to make multiple pit stops to fix that. We finally had overcome all that. We were running exactly where we needed to run.
He was running in 5th position. That's the position that Davey needed to be in order to win the championship.
And we were trying to find us a hole to run in, and then, of course, it got closed up. That site is the site I still see almost 20 years later.
Oh, crash! Davey Allison is in the crash bomb.
Oh, Ernie Irvin, and it's all over for Davey Allison.
No, it's not over yet. I don't think he hit him that hard, maybe.
Got a lot of damage to the right side of the car.
Ernie Irvin spinning, coming off of corner number 4.
Davey has got his car moving.
Yeah, he's trying to pull away.
But he can't steer it.
But it won't turn.
It won't turn the right front.
In the blink of an eye, the championship is gone, left in the hands of Alan Kulwicki and Bill Elliott. Kulwicki would end up nabbing the title by 10 points over Elliott. The Underbird beat awesome Bill from Dawsonville. The man they were chasing, though, Davey Allison, managed to get back on the track and finish the season. While he wouldn't finish off with the championship, he would finish off the championship race. Allison came home in 27th for the race and 3rd in the points, 63 points behind champion Kulwicki.
Thanks for everything. I'm glad this is over. The year's over.
I'm not glad it ended this way, but I am kind of glad that it's come to an end now and we can go get some things sorted out and get ready for next year.
It's just almost cruel.
Nah, it just wasn't meant to be.
1993 looked to be a continuation of Allison's great career. By the end of the season's 16th race, Allison was in the top 5 in points and looking to make yet another run at the championship. All of the pieces were in place to do so. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be.
This morning, the 32-year-old Allison died from a fatal head injury after his helicopter crashed.
In July, the NASCAR family endured another unthinkable loss.
And, I'm sorry. He had a little saying, and he was very committed to this saying.
There ain't nothing going to come up today that me and the Lord can't handle together, and it has certainly helped me get through the things that I've had to get through.
Davey would leave behind his wife Liz, as well as his 2 children, daughter Krista Marie and son Robert Gray. Davey Allison was only 32 years old.